My dear friend, you are here now, and that is enough. You have come to this space perhaps seeking rest, peace, or simply wishing to be held in a gentle presence as the night unfolds. Whatever brought you here, welcome. This is not a place where you need to strive. There is nothing you must achieve, no thoughts you need to control. You are invited simply to be as you are. Perhaps your day was long. Perhaps the mind still stirs with thoughts of what was or what might be. That is natural, and it is welcome here. You do not need to force yourself into stillness. You do not need to make sleep happen. Instead, allow it to come to you like a soft mist rolling over a quiet field, like the gentle tide rising to meet the shore. In this space, I will share with you a story of human connection, of presence, of the profound wisdom that weaves through every life. It is not a story to analyze, not one to understand. It is a story to rest into, to let wash over you, like warm light on a cool evening. And as you listen, there is nothing you need to do. The words may flow through your awareness like a stream through the forest, sometimes clear, sometimes fading into the background. That is perfect. Let them guide you gently, breath by breath, into deeper rest. If you drift into sleep, it's beautiful. If you remain awake, resting in the quiet of the moment, that too is beautiful. There is no right way to be here, only your way, and that is enough. So now, if you'd like, take a slow, soft breath in and let it go. Like leaves falling gently from an autumn tree, feel the weight of your body, entirely supported by the bed. There is nothing you need to hold, nothing you need to do. This is your time to rest, to soften, to receive. And when you are ready, the story will begin. There are evenings when the heart feels heavier than usual. Perhaps tonight is one of those evenings for you. You lie there, beneath the gentle weight of the blanket. The air around you is still, the room quiet. And yet, the mind continues its quiet wanderings across memories, hopes, connections. Have you ever wondered why some people step into your life in such unexpected ways? Why certain encounters, though brief, leave imprints that linger for years, while others, though constant, fade like footprints washed away by rain? As I sit here, in the simple stillness of my small meditation room, I often reflect on this mysterious weaving of human lives. You see, my friend, in my years as a monk wandering through different lands, from bustling cities to remote mountain hermitages, I have come to see that no meeting is truly random. Perhaps you too have sensed this. There was once a young traveler I met. Let us call him Hiroshi. He came to our temple many springs ago, with eyes full of questions. But tonight, before I tell you more of Hiroshi's story, I invite you to settle your breath. Let each inhale be soft and natural, and each exhale like a gentle wave returning to the sea. There is no need to force anything, no need to become anyone other than who you are here. Now, in the teachings of the Buddha, it is said, all things arise with conditions. Nothing exists entirely alone. This includes the people who cross your path, the friendships you form, the losses you endure, the moments of unexpected grace. Picture this, if you will, a vast tapestry, threads shimmering in subtle colors. Each life is a thread. Some threads cross only for a moment, a glance in a crowded marketplace, a smile from a stranger on a weary day. Others entwine with yours for seasons. weaving patterns of comfort, challenge, or transformation. And a few, become part of your inner fabric, inseparable from the person you continue to become. You may not always understand the why of it, nor must you, for even in a Zen garden, one does not ask why this stone rests here, or why that flower blooms there. It simply is, and its presence shapes the whole. In this way, too, the people in your life appear not by chance, but by the unseen flow of karma, intention, and ancient threads of connection. Some may call this fate, others synchronicity. For me, it is simply the natural unfolding of inner being of life, expressing itself through relationships. Hiroshi, the traveler I spoke of, felt this in his bones long before he had words for it. When he arrived at our temple, cherry blossoms were in full bloom. Petals drifted through the air, like soft whispers from unseen hands. He bowed deeply when we met beneath the old plum tree, and after a moment of silence, he asked, "Master, why do some people feel like old friends the moment we meet, while others seem to stir unease without clear reason? Are these meetings truly random, or is there more beneath the surface?" Such a timeless question. One you too may have carried in quiet moments, perhaps tonight. But the answer, my friend, is not found in simple words. It is felt slowly as one begins to observe the patterns of one's own life. You see, just as the roots of the ancient pine spread unseen beneath the earth, so too do the causes and conditions that bring people into your life extend far beyond what the eyes can see. In Buddhist understanding, these are the currents of karma, the momentum of actions, choices, and relationships from countless moments, countless lifetimes. No meeting is an accident. Even the briefest of exchanges, a teacher who speaks a word that awakens you, a stranger whose glance stirs compassion, a passerby whose unkindness sharpens your own self-awareness, all are part of this great dance of becoming. And yet, knowing this is not about grasping or controlling. Rather, it invites us into a deeper trust, a surrender to the flow. Tonight, as you rest, let this thought settle gently in your mind. Every person who has entered your life, whether joyfully or painfully, came with a hidden teaching, a seed planted in the soil of your heart. You may not see it sprouting yet. You may not know its fruit for years, but the seed is there. And perhaps, as you drift towards sleep, your heart may soften toward these unseen gifts. As for Hiroshi, his story is only beginning. In a little while, I will share with you what he discovered beneath the blossoms, beside the old stone lanterns. But for now, rest, breathe, allow the tapestry of your own life to unfurl in gentle awareness. The night deepens. Outside your window, or perhaps only in your mind, you might sense the hush of distant mountains beneath starlit skies. In such quiet moments, when the world softens its sharp edges, understanding can arise with surprising clarity. Let us return now to the story of Hiroshi. You may recall he had arrived at the monastery with a heart full of questions. 17 days of travel had brought him there, across coastal roads, winding forest paths, and misty mountain trails. Yet, as he sat beneath the plum tree, he confessed that it was not reason alone that had guided him, but something deeper, a pull, a call beyond words. It felt, he said, as though I was being drawn here by a voice I could not hear, but somehow trusted. Have you ever felt such a call? An inexplicable sense that you must meet a certain person, visit a certain place, or take a step you do not yet fully understand. These are the subtle threads of life's unseen weaving. When Hiroshi posed his question, why do certain people feel so familiar upon first meeting, while others evoke unease, I allowed the silence to stretch between us. In Zen, as you may know, it is often the pause between words that speaks loudest. After a time, I said simply, people do not enter our lives by accident. There is a depth to this truth that is not easily grasped by the thinking mind. Consider this. Each of us moves through the world like a bird gliding upon unseen currents of air. To the eye, the bird appears free, directing its path with the beat of its wings. Yet it is also carried by the winds shaped by forces it cannot fully control. So it is with human connections. We move through life believing we choose our companions and encounters, but beneath our choices flow the invisible rivers of karma causes and conditions set into motion. Long before this lifetime, we have been each other's mothers, fathers, siblings, and friends countless times. I told Hiroshi, the bonds you feel are not new, they are simply remembered by the heart, even if the mind cannot trace their origin. He listened, eyes wide, the breeze stirring strands of hair across his brow. Around us, petals drifted from the trees, momentary visitors on their own unseen journeys. But Master, Hiroshi asked, if all is shaped by karma, do we have no choice in our relationships? Must we simply accept whatever arises? A wise question. Perhaps it is one you too have wondered about. Here is how I answered. Though the winds of karma carry us, we are not without the rudder of awareness. The way we meet each person with kindness, with curiosity, with wisdom, or with fear, helps shape what unfolds next. Think of a stone dropped into a still pond. The ripples expand outward, influencing all they touch. So too do our responses create new ripples, softening old patterns, inviting healing, or reinforcing suffering. Your encounters, I told him, are not binding chains, they are invitations. Each person who enters your life brings a mirror, fur à leçon, a choice. Perhaps you can recall such moments in your own life. A friend whose compassion helped you soften toward yourself. A rival whose sharp words awakened clarity about your values. A stranger whose brief kindness renewed your faith in humanity. Not all lessons come wrapped in joy. Some arrive cloaked in discomfort, even pain, but all have the potential to serve your awakening if you meet them with presence. By this time, Hiroshi and I had begun walking through the monastery garden. Stone paths wound between moss-covered lanterns and flowering shrubs. A small stream whispered nearby, its song timeless and soothing. I gestured to the garden around us and said, imagine your life as such a garden. Each person who crosses your path is like a seed. Some grow into towering trees, offering shade and shelter. Others bloom briefly, brightening a single season. And some may be stones upon the path hard underfoot, yet shaping the way you walk. Hiroshi's gaze followed the winding path. And what of those who cause harm? Master, he asked softly, what purpose do they serve? Ah, the heart of it. Those who hurt us, I said, are often our most profound teachers. I bent to pick up a smooth stone from the edge of the stream. At first, a sharp stone wounds, but over time, through many encounters, its edges are worn smooth. In the same way, Difficult relationships reveal where we still carry sharpness, anger, pride, unhealed pain. In meeting these challenges with awareness, we too are softened, shaped toward greater wisdom. Consider this in your own life. My friend, who has tested your patience? Who has mirrored back to you the places where your heart remains guarded or reactive? Such people are not pleasant to encounter, but their presence can catalyze deep transformation. Of course, this does not mean we must tolerate harm or abandon discernment. Boundaries, too, are part of the path. But even as we protect our well-being, we can recognize the teaching within each encounter. Hiroshi knelt by the stream, watching the water ripple and shimmer. I see now, he said quietly, that every person is both guest and teacher in the garden of my life. I smiled. Yes, and remember you too are a guest and teacher in the gardens of others. As the sun climbed higher, casting shifting patterns of light through the trees, our conversation continued. We spoke of the three kinds of people who enter one's life, but that is a teaching for another moment. For now, as you lie here in the quiet of your own space, I invite you to reflect gently. Who has entered your life in recent years? What seeds have they planted? What ripples have your own responses created? There is no need to judge, only to notice, and to rest in the knowing that beneath all appearances, life weaves a tapestry of deep and unseen meaning. The mind, when given space, begins to see more clearly. As night deepens and your body settles further into ease, perhaps you, too, begin to sense how the patterns of connection in your life have shaped you quietly. Inevitably, like rivers carving stone, let us return now to the monastery garden, where Hiroshi and I continued our walk. The morning had ripened into late day. The sun was softer now, light slanting through the branches of ancient trees. The air smelled faintly of pine and earth, rich with life. I could see that Hiroshi's heart had begun to open, not just to the idea that his relationships held purpose, but to the deeper understanding that he, too, had a role in shaping those relationships moment by moment, breath by breath. Master, he asked thoughtfully as we paused beside a wooden bench, how can one know which connections to nurture and which to release? Not every person who enters my life seems meant to stay. How does one discern this? Such a common question. Perhaps it is one that also stirs in you. I gestured to a small lantern set by the path, its soft glow visible even in daylight. A quiet offering of guidance. There are three kinds of people who enter the garden of your life, I told him. Understanding this can help you meet each with the appropriate gratitude. He leaned in, attentive. First, I said, are those who support the structure of your journey. They are like the roots of trees or the banks of a river. They provide foundation and containment. Sometimes they challenge you with their boundaries, but in doing so, they give your path direction. These are the friends, mentors, or loved ones who remain steady, who walk beside you through many seasons. Hiroshi nodded, his gaze far away. I imagined he was thinking of such figures in his own life. Second, I continued, are those who bring renewal. They arrive to awaken something within you, to challenge your assumptions, to stir dormant qualities, to spark growth. Like spring rain, they may disrupt your familiar patterns, yet their influence encourages new life to emerge. I motioned toward a nearby patch of wildflowers, blooming vibrantly amidst more established shrubs. Their time in your life may be brief or long, but their presence shifts you in ways you cannot easily measure. And the third? Hiroshi asked softly. The third, I said with a smile, are momentary guides, those who appear just when you need a single light to illuminate your way. Like this lantern beside us, their role may be fleeting, yet their impact can be lasting. A single word, a simple kindness, a passing conversation, such moments can alter the course of a life. I let this sink in. The garden around us seemed to breathe with the rhythm of the teaching. But how do I know? Hiroshi asked after a pause. Which connections to hold on to and which to release? Sometimes the heart clings, even when the season of a relationship has passed. This too is a tender truth. The Buddha taught. I reminded him. In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. Notice, I told him, how each connection affects the garden of your spirit. Does it nourish what is tender and beautiful within you? Does it support your growth, your peace, your compassion? Or does it wither your joy, steer restlessness, or cloud your clarity? Your own heart knows, I added gently, but we must cultivate the courage to listen to its wisdom. Hiroshi sat quietly, watching the interplay of light and shadow on the path. I sensed he was thinking of certain relationships. He had long struggled to understand ties, perhaps worn thin by time or misunderstanding. And what if letting go feels unkind? He asked softly. To release with love is never unkind. I replied, to cling when the season has passed may cause more suffering for yourself and for the other. Letting go is not rejection. It is honoring the natural flow of life. Consider the tree. When autumn comes, it does not cling to its leaves. It lets them fall, trusting that in their place, new life will emerge in due time. In your own life, my friend, there may be relationships, friendships, roles, even identities whose time has come to be released. Can you sense them? Can you feel where you are holding on from habit or fear rather than from love? To release with grace is to make room for what is ready to grow. By now, the sun had slipped lower in the sky. Long shadows stretched across the garden. We returned to the plum tree where we had first met that morning. Hiroshi looked up at me, eyes shining with new understanding. So, he said, we meet people not by chance, and each encounter carries a teaching, but we must meet each one with discernment, with love, and with the willingness to let go when needed. Yes, I said, and remember this also, just as others enter your life with purpose, so do you enter theirs. In some lives, you may be the steady tree, in others, the spring rain, and in yet others, the fleeting lantern that lights a single step. Move mindfully through the gardens you enter. Your presence, too, plants, seeds, as you lie here now, resting beneath your own invisible sky. I invite you to reflect gently. In whose life have you been the tree, the rain, the lantern, and who, in turn, has offered you these gifts? No need to answer. Simply notice, and in noticing, may your heart soften with gratitude for all who have walked with you, whether for a moment or for a lifetime. Rest now. There is more to share in time. But for this moment, let your breath be soft, let your heart be light, and trust the wisdom of your own unfolding path. Night deepens now. Outside or within the stars begin their silent watch, and you, my friend, lie here between one breath and the next, Between the softness of the pillow and the quiet space of your own awareness, let us return once more to the mountain garden, to the quiet conversation between a young seeker and an old monk, a moment from long ago, yet one that echoes still in the chambers of the heart. After we had spoken of the kinds of people who enter our lives, Hiroshi sat in thoughtful stillness. The shadows beneath the plum tree lengthened. Somewhere nearby, a single bell sounded its tone low and resonant, as though marking the turning of an unseen wheel. At last, Hiroshi spoke again. "Master, if I, too, step into the lives of others with purpose, how can I walk gently? How can I be sure that the seeds I leave behind are those of kindness, not of harm?" Ah, such a wise and humble question. Perhaps you, too, have asked yourself this. In quiet hours, it begins, I told him, with remembering that every encounter is sacred. Each moment of connection, whether brief or enduring, is an opportunity to awaken compassion, to embody presence. You need not strive to be perfect. I added gently, perfection is a rigid mirror that blinds us. But you can be present. You can meet each person with the fullness of your awareness and a heart unclouded by judgment. Consider this. Dear one, how often do we drift through encounters half aware, entangled in our own concerns, missing the subtle invitations life offers us in each meeting, and yet a single moment of true presence can change everything. Sometimes it is a word of encouragement at just the right time. Sometimes it is the grace of listening without agenda. Sometimes, even, it is the wisdom to step back, allowing another the space to grow in their own way. But what of those who harm us? Master? Hiroshi asked then, his brow furrowed. Surely not all encounters are meant to be welcomed? A question born of the heart's longing to protect itself. A question many carry, quietly, beneath their outer composure. No, I said, not all encounters must be embraced closely. The Buddha taught that while compassion is boundless, wisdom must walk beside it. To discern is not to judge. It is to see clearly, with both heart and mind. Some who enter your life come wounded, and in their wounding, they may seek to wound others. Such ones are not to be hated, but neither must you invite them to dwell within your innermost garden. Boundaries, I reminded him, are acts of compassion both for yourself and for the other. To allow harmful patterns to persist serves no one's awakening. In truth, the ability to say enough with kindness but firmness is one of the deepest acts of love we can offer to ourselves and to the larger weaving of life. But how shall I know when to set such boundaries? Hiroshi asked. You will know, I answered, by the state of your own spirit. Does this connection nourish your clarity, your kindness, your peace, or does it leave your heart clouded, your breath constricted? The body, too, is wise. Listen to it. If the presence of another consistently brings contraction, heaviness, or fear, honor this knowing. You, my friend, know this already though. At times you may have doubted yourself. There is a quiet voice within, an inner bell that rings true. Too often, we override it out of habit, guilt, or misplaced duty. But when we learn to trust it, we begin to walk in harmony with life. Hiroshi seemed to understand. He gazed out over the garden, where a gentle wind stirred the grasses and what of letting go. Master, he asked softly. I fear that in releasing certain ties, I may wound others. Is it not cruel to step away from those who once mattered? Such tenderness in his question, a tenderness I often see in those with kind hearts. Perhaps you, too, have felt this weight. Letting go is not an act of cruelty. I said, it is an honoring of truth. To cling to relationships whose season has passed is to hold both yourself and the other in a false posture. In truth, release can be the greatest gift, a freeing of both spirits to follow their needed path. And know this, I added gently, letting go need not mean severing all connection. Sometimes it is a simple shift, a softening of attachment, an allowing of spaciousness. In this way, love remains. But without grasping, the tree does not mourn its fallen leaves. It trusts the cycle of life. So, too, may we trust the flow of our human connections. I watched as Hiroshi breathed this in, his gaze softening. I begin to see, he murmured. It is not the number of connections that matters, but the quality of presence I bring to each. Yes, I said with a smile. And remember, love that liberates is the highest form of love. To love while allowing freedom is the essence of true compassion. As the light continued to fade, we sat in companionable silence beneath the plum tree. Around us, the garden breathed with life unseen, currents of connection weaving through earth, air, and spirit. You, too, dear one, rest now beneath unseen skies. As you lie here, I invite you to reflect gently, with no striving on the connections in your life. Where does love flow freely? Where does it cling? Where is release called for, not as rejection, but as an honoring of truth? And where might your own presence be a gift to others, a tree, a rain, a lantern upon their path? There is no need to force answers. Let the questions themselves be companions for now, soft as the breath that rises and falls within you. For the heart, like the garden, knows when the time for blooming and for letting go has come. Rest now. In the next turning of this quiet tale, there is still more to share. But for this moment, trust the wisdom already alive within you. It is enough. The night stretches on. Perhaps, as you lie here, your breath has grown slower, your body heavier against the bed. This is good. No need to hurry the journey, like a river winding through valley and stone. Understanding flows best when we do not force it. Let us return now, once again, to that quiet mountain garden. The day had begun to wane when Hiroshi and I resumed our walk. The bell of the temple had sounded 3 low chimes, a gentle reminder that time, too, moves in cycles. Master, Hiroshi spoke softly as we passed beneath an archway draped in ivy. You have shown me how to see my relationships with greater wisdom. But I wonder, how do I remain mindful of these teachings when I return to the world beyond this peaceful place, in the noise of daily life? It is easy to forget. Such an honest question. Perhaps you, too. We have felt this, that the clarity of insight often dims beneath the rush and clamor of ordinary days. I smiled and led him toward a small stone bench beneath a flowering dogwood tree. We sat, the hush of twilight settling around us. The Buddha once said, I began, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. The teachings are not bound to this monastery. Hiroshi, they live within you, as seeds. Your task is to tend them not through grand effort, but through simple, daily remembrance. How do I begin? He asked. Begin, I said gently, by cultivating awareness in small moments. As you walk through the village, greet each person with presence, whether friend or stranger. When you speak, speak from your heart. When you listen, listen with the whole of your being. And when you feel the stirrings of attachment or aversion, pause, breathe, ask, what is being called forth here? What teaching is this moment offering me? You see, my friend, mindfulness is not reserved for temples or cushions. It is a way of being, woven into the fabric of ordinary life. Even now, as you lie, here you are, practicing by noticing your breath, the sensations in your body, the flow of your thoughts gently. Without judgment, you are deepening presence. I continued with Hiroshi. Also, remember to create small rituals of reflection, perhaps at day's end. Light a simple candle, sit quietly and ask, who did I meet today? What seeds were planted? What may need to be watered with care? And what may need to be released? These simple acts nourish the garden of your awareness. Over time, they become the soil in which wisdom naturally blooms. Hiroshi absorbed this quietly. Gaze soft upon the petals scattered across the garden path. Master, he said after a time, one more question. What of the pain we carry from past connections, the wounds of betrayal, the regrets of words unspoken? How are we to meet these? Here was the deeper heart of the matter, a question we all must face. Pain, too, is a teacher, I told him gently, but only when we are willing to meet it with compassion. The Buddha taught that suffering arises when we cling to what was, to what might have been. The path of release begins with acceptance. This, too, has happened. This, too, is part of my path. Then, I continued, we bring loving awareness to the wound, not to erase it, but to tend it as one would tend a tender sprout or a healing scar. Over time, the sharpness softens, and we find that even our pain can become a source of wisdom and compassion for others. I paused, allowing space for these words to settle. Forgiveness. Master, Hiroshi asked quietly, is that what you speak of? Yes. I nodded, but not a forced forgiveness. Not the mind's demand that you move on. Rather, the heart's gentle unfolding, a release that comes in its own time, when readiness arises from deep within. And remember, I added, forgiveness is not forgetting. It is not condoning harm. It is simply laying down the burden of hatred or bitterness so that your own spirit may walk free. Perhaps, as you hear these words, some old pain stirs gently within you. If so, know this: there is no rush, no right timetable for healing. Only this: meet yourself with kindness, as often as you can, as tenderly as you can. You are not alone in this. All beings walk the path of learning to hold and to release the sorrows life brings. I looked at Hiroshi, then saw both the longing and the courage in his young face. And know this, too, I said, as you forgive, as you release, you clear space within your heart. And in that space, new connections may arise. Connections aligned not with your wounds, but with your deepest wholeness. So forgiveness, Hiroshi reflected, is also an opening, not only a letting go, but a welcoming. Yes, I smiled, Beautifully said. As the first stars appeared overhead, we rose and began the slow walk back toward the temple halls. Master, Hiroshi said as we approached the wooden gate, I feel I have learned so much, but I also feel there is still so much more I do not yet understand. I placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. Of course, I said, the path is endless. We each walk it step by step, not seeking to arrive, but to deepen our way of being with each step. Remember, wisdom does not come from gathering teachings alone, but from living them. Let the garden of your life be tended with care. Let each encounter, joyful or painful, be met as a teacher, and above all, let your heart remain open to wonder. And now, my friend, as you rest here beneath the quiet of this evening, perhaps you feel your own heart softening, opening just a little more. There is no need to figure it all out, no need to force growth. Simply trust each breath, each encounter, each turning of life's great wheel is guiding you deeper into your own unfolding wisdom. Rest now. Let these seeds settle into the soil of your being, and in time, they will bloom. The night now lies in its deepest hush. Perhaps your body has softened further, breath moving in gentle rhythm, mind drifting between waking and dream. This is a fertile space where words can settle not as knowledge, but as felt wisdom within the heart. Let us return once more to our story. The stars had fully emerged when Hiroshi and I reached the quiet veranda of the monastery. There we paused. The scent of night-blooming jasmine lingered on the cool air. The flickering light of a small lantern danced upon the wooden floor. I sensed that Hiroshi still carried one more question, something not yet voiced. So I waited. Finally, he spoke. Master, I understand now that each person enters my life with purpose, and that I too must walk mindfully in the lives of others. Yet, I wonder, what if I fear being hurt again? How do I open my heart without losing myself? Ah, such a tender truth. Perhaps, my friend, you too have felt this. The longing to love freely, yet the instinct to protect oneself from further pain. This, I told him gently, is the paradox of the human heart. It yearns to connect, and it fears the wounds that connection can bring. The path is not to close the heart for in-closing. We lose not only pain, but also joy, wonder, and the fullness of life. Nor is it to fling the heart wide without discernment, leaving oneself exposed to harm. Rather, I said, the path is to cultivate a heart both open and wise, like the lotus flower that blooms upon still waters. Its roots deep in the earth, its petals open to the sun, yet untouched by the mud beneath. Hiroshi listened intently. I continued, how does one cultivate such a heart? Begin, I said, by strengthening your own center. When you know your worth, when you stand rooted in self-respect and compassion for yourself, then connection with others becomes a dance of mutual offering, not of grasping or self-abandonment. The Buddha taught, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Without this foundation, relationships easily become entangled with need, fear, or self-erasure. But when your cup is full, I told him, you can offer from overflow freely, joyfully, without expectation or dependence. And should pain arise as it sometimes will, you will meet it not as a drowning one, but as one who can hold it with compassion, learn from it, and release it in time. You see, my friend, this is the art of sacred relating, to give without losing oneself, to love without clinging, to remain open without being naive. It is not an easy art. It is cultivated over years through practice, through living. But each step upon this path brings greater freedom. And what of those who cannot meet us with the same openness? Master, Hiroshi asked then, those who bring patterns of harm, who do not see or honor the dance of true connection? For such ones, I said softly, practice compassionate boundaries. You may honor their humanity, wish them well in your heart, yet choose not to invite their presence into the inner garden of your life. This, too, is love for it, honors truth, and true love does not enable harm, nor does it abandon discernment. Remember, the Buddha taught, just as a solid rock is not shaken by the storm, even so, the wise are not affected by praise or blame. Similarly, the wise heart is not pulled off center by another's behavior. It remains steady, rooted in clarity and compassion. Hiroshi sat quietly, absorbing these teachings. Around us, the night deepened. The hush of the world seemed to echo the stillness within. Master, he said at last, it seems this path asks us to walk with both courage and gentleness to meet life's connections as sacred, yet without illusion. Yes, I smiled, and know this, you need not walk it perfectly. There will be times when the heart closes in fear, when old wounds arise, when confusion clouds discernment. This is not failure. It is simply part of being human. In such moments, return to the breath. Return to kindness for yourself first, and then for others. Return deepens your practice. Like a river gradually shaping stone, perhaps you, too, dear one, have known these moments. When you offered trust and were met with betrayal, when you opened your heart and were misunderstood, when you longed to connect, yet old fears held you back. Know this, each of these, too, is part of the path, and none of it diminishes your worth. The art is not in never being hurt, but in learning to meet each experience with growing wisdom, to release what no longer serves, and to keep the heart soft and alive. Master, Hiroshi asked softly, is it ever too late to begin this way of being? Never. I answered, each moment is a doorway. The past does not bind you. Even now here, beneath this night sky, you can choose again to walk with greater presence, compassion, and freedom. And if you forget, which we all do, simply begin again. The path is always here, beneath your feet. You, too, my friend, may begin again in this very breath. There is nothing you must first accomplish. No perfection required. Only this, to meet yourself where you are, with kindness, and to bring that same spirit to those whose paths cross your own. As Hiroshi and I sat in the soft dark, the great truth seemed to shimmer in the air around us. Every person we meet, every encounter, is both a mirror and an offering, a chance to see more clearly who we are, a chance to awaken love, wisdom, presence. And we, too, are such mirrors and offerings in the lives of others. As you rest now, breath slow, heart quiet, perhaps this reflection may gently accompany you, in whose life, today or long ago, have you been a lantern, a shelter, a breath of kindness? And who has offered these gifts to you? No answer needed, only the soft remembering and the knowing that each such moment weaves another thread in the vast, unseen tapestry of life. Rest well, dear one. There is more to share still. But for now, may these seeds settle gently in your heart. The night is long, the path is wide, and you are exactly where you need to be. The hours of the night flow like a quiet stream. Perhaps you feel yourself drifting between wakefulness and the soft embrace of sleep. This is good. The heart listens differently in such moments. It opens not to argument or proof, but to the gentle truth of what resonates as deeply real. Let us return once more to the unfolding story. That night, after our long conversation, Hiroshi remained at the monastery. Though he had come intending only a brief visit, perhaps a single day, something within him had shifted. Upon entering a place of deep stillness, he sensed, asmanido, that the teachings he had touched were but the surface of a more bottomless well. "Master," he said the next morning, as we walked beneath the rising sun, "I would like to learn more, not only with words, but by dwelling here for a time, to practice this way of presence. I welcome this wholeheartedly, for in truth, transformation rarely comes from hearing alone. It comes from embodying, living the teachings until they are no longer separate from who we are." And so, for many days, Hiroshi remained. He rose with the monks before dawn, walking the stone paths in silent meditation. He joined the tending of the garden, planting, weeding, harvesting. He practiced mindfulness in small acts, sweeping the floors, carrying water, and preparing simple meals. And in this way, the teachings began to sink from mind to heart to body. One morning, as we gathered to drink tea beneath the great cedar tree, Hiroshi shared a new reflection. "Master," he began, "I have noticed something, even here, in this peaceful place. My mind sometimes returns to old memories, regrets, past hurts, faces of those I have loved and lost, or those with whom there was pain. And when this happens, I find myself caught, wanting to push the memories away, or to change what cannot be changed. Such a human experience. Perhaps even now, as you lie here, your mind revisits specific memories drawn by old longing and unfinished stories. This is natural," I told him gently. "The mind is like the wind it moves. It stirs the waters of the heart. Our task is not to fight this, nor to cling to each ripple. Our task is simply to see, this is here, this too belongs, and then to return, again and again, to the simple truth of this moment. But what of the feelings that arise?" "Master?" Hiroshi asked. "Grief, anger, longing, should we not push them away?" "No," I said softly. "To push them away is to create inner conflict. To drown in them is to lose our way. The middle path is this: to allow them to arise, to greet them with compassion, and to let them pass when their time is done, like clouds moving across a vast sky. You see, my friend, emotions are like guests at the inn of the heart. Some are welcome, others less so, but all are visitors. None need to become permanent residents. When we meet them with curiosity and kindness, not clinging, not rejecting, they tend to loosen their grip, and beneath them, we rediscover the open space of awareness, always present, always untouched. This practice of allowing, is it also part of relating with others?" Hiroshi asked then. "Very much so," I replied. "For just as we learn to meet our own arising feelings with compassion, so too we learn to meet others as they are not, as we wish them to be, not as we fear they might be, but as they are. In this moment, This is true presence, the heart of all genuine connection, and it requires patience. I added, for both ourselves and others are works in progress, gardens still growing, rivers still flowing. Perhaps you can feel this in your own life. How often do we judge too quickly ourselves or another? How often do we harden around an old story? She is always this way. I will never change. And this relationship is doomed. But life is more fluid than this. The river of being is ever moving, meeting each person anew, moment by moment, invites the possibility of transformation. Master, Hiroshi said softly, this way of being, it feels both simple and very challenging. I smiled. Yes, it is both. Simple in truth, for it asks only presence, compassion, and clarity. Challenging in practice, for it calls us to release many habits, grasping, judgment, fear, control. Yet, I added, with each step, the path grows easier, not because life becomes easier, but because we grow more spacious, more resilient, more loving. You, my friend, are already walking this path. By listening here and opening your heart to these reflections, you are nourishing the seeds of wisdom within you. There is no rush, no destination to reach. Only this, to live each day a little more awake, a little more compassionate, a little more free. As Hiroshi's time at the monastery unfolded, he noticed changes. He moved with greater ease. His interactions with others grew more gentle and more authentic. He laughed more easily. He forgave more swiftly both himself and others. One afternoon, as we shared a simple meal, he said, Master, I used to think that the purpose of relationships was to find those who would make me happy. Now, I see they are not here to complete me, nor to guarantee my joy. They are opportunities to learn, to grow, to love more wisely. Yes, he affirmed. And in this spirit, each encounter, no matter how fleeting or challenging, becomes part of your path of awakening. Even those who cause us pain, he asked, especially them. I said, for they reveal where we are, still bound, where fear, attachment, or woundedness still dwell. When met with awareness, such encounters become gateways to deeper freedom. Perhaps there are such gateways in your own life. Perhaps certain faces arise now in your mind, those who have challenged you most. You need not force anything. Simply breathe. Acknowledge, this is here. And trust that with time, compassion, and presence, even these knots may loosen. As twilight returned to the monastery, Hiroshi sat quietly beneath the great cedar, and as the stars began to appear, he whispered, the path is endless, Master, but I am grateful to have begun walking it with clearer eyes. That is all we can ask, I said softly, to walk with humility, with love, with presence, step by step, breath by breath. And so, too, may you walk, dear one, this night, this breath, this moment, a new step upon your path. There is no need to hurry. Rest now. Let the teachings settle like gentle rain upon the soil of your being. And when you wake or even in your dreams, may they nourish new growth, clarity, and compassion. For the journey continues, and you, just as you are ready to meet it. The stillness of night has deepened now. Perhaps your breath has grown slower, your body heavier, nestled into a space of rest. There is no need to follow every word with a thinking mind. Let the story drift softly through you, like mist across a quiet lake. Sometimes, it is not through understanding, but through simple presence that wisdom takes root. Let us return once more to the mountain monastery. It had been several weeks since Hiroshi first arrived. He had moved through days of silence and contemplation, tending the earth and practicing mindful presence with others. One morning, beneath skies of soft silver light, Hiroshi sought me out with a new question that revealed a deepening of his practice. "Master," he said as we walked among the dew-kissed grasses, "there is something I still struggle to understand. You have taught me to meet each person as they are, to hold compassion even for those who challenge me. But what of those closest to us, family, old friends, with whom patterns of misunderstanding run deep? How do we bring the wisdom of presence into these more entangled relationships?" Such an essential inquiry, for it is often not the strangers or passing acquaintances who test us most, but those with whom we share long histories layered with memory, expectation, and old wounds. This is where the practice matures, I told him gently, for with those closest to us, the invitation is not only to meet the person before us, but to meet the past within ourselves. You see, I continued, when we engage with a parent, a sibling, an old friend, we are not only responding to who they are now, but also to the layers of memory and meaning we carry within us. To meet them with clarity, I said, requires that we first become aware of these inner layers, to see, with kindness, where old expectations, hurts, or roles may be coloring our present view. Hiroshi listened intently. "And when we see these patterns?" he asked softly. "Then," I replied, "we can begin to release them, not by forcing them away, but by meeting them with understanding and compassion. We begin to relate not from the wounded child or the defensive self, but from the spacious awareness of the present moment. This is not always easy," I added, "for old patterns run deep, but with patience and gentle perseverance, the knots begin to loosen, and with each loosening, there is more space for authentic connection to emerge. Perhaps you feel this, too, dear one, perhaps in your own life. Relationships are woven with love and old pain. Know this, you are not alone. All beings walk this tender path, and healing is always possible not through forcing others to change, but through softening and clarifying your heart." "But Master," Hiroshi asked, "what if the other is unwilling to meet me in this way? What if they remain caught in old patterns, unable or unwilling to open to new ways of relating?" "This," I said gently, "is where the wisdom of compassionate boundaries becomes essential. To love does not mean to lose oneself. To forgive does not mean to abandon discernment. Sometimes, the most loving choice is to step back to create space where growth might one day occur, even if that day has not yet come. In this too, there is no blame. Each being is walking their path at their own pace. Your task is not to change them, but to remain true to your own clarity and compassion." Hiroshi nodded slowly. "And what of the longing for reconciliation?" he asked softly. "Is it wrong to hope for healing in these relationships?" "Not wrong," I replied, "but it must be a hope held lightly, not a demand. Clinging to the need for reconciliation can create new suffering. Offering the possibility while accepting what is the middle way. Remember," I said, "the Buddha taught, attachment is the root of suffering. This applies even to our longing for harmony. We can offer love, we can embody presence, but we must also allow life to unfold in its own time. You, too, dear one, may hold such hopes, perhaps for a relationship long strained, or for understanding with one who cannot yet meet you as you are. Know this, your longing is natural, and yet, peace arises when we release the grip of expectation, when we love without controlling the outcome. Master, Hiroshi whispered, I see now that even as I seek to meet others with presence, I must also meet myself with the same compassion. Yes, I smiled, for how we relate to ourselves shapes how we relate to all others. As you cultivate kindness toward your own imperfections, your own wounds, you will naturally extend that same kindness toward others. And as you learn to honor your own boundaries, your own truth, you will more skillfully honor the truth and boundaries of those around you. This is the heart of a wise relationship, an inner foundation of clarity and compassion, from which outward connection can flow freely without grasping or self-betrayal. As the morning light grew brighter, Hiroshi and I continued our walk. The air was crisp, the world alive with subtle beauty. Each day, I told him, is a new opportunity to walk this path, not with the pressure to be perfect, but with the simple intention to bring a little more awareness, a little more kindness into each interaction. Even when we stumble, and we will, this too is part of the path. Each moment offers the chance to begin again, and so it is for you. My friend, whatever may have unfolded in your past, whatever regrets or old patterns you may carry, know this: each breath is a new beginning. You can choose again now, in this very moment, to walk with greater presence, to meet yourself and others with more profound compassion. There is no need to hurry, no need to strive for some imagined perfection. Simply trust the unfolding of your own heart. One breath, one step, one moment at a time. Rest now. Let these reflections settle like soft rain upon the garden of your being. And as you drift deeper into rest, may you feel the gentle truth of this path. Every person you meet, every joy, every challenge is part of your awakening, and that you, in turn, are a light upon the path of others. This is enough. You are enough. Rest well, dear one, and when the next dawn comes, may you rise with a heart a little softer, a little clearer, a little more open to the sacred dance of connection. The hours slip onward now, as quietly as breath itself. Perhaps you find yourself resting in that space between waking and sleep, where the mind loosens its grip and the heart listens with greater ease. There is no need to focus or strive. Simply let these words wash gently over you like moonlight upon still water. And so we return once more to our story. On the final day of his stay, Hiroshi approached me again. The mountain air was cool that morning, and the garden veiled in a soft mist. Petals from the late-blooming plum trees drifted upon the breeze as though the earth was breathing in a slower rhythm. Master, he began as we walked along the stone path, as I prepare to leave this place, one last question stirs within me. I have come to see that relationships, whether joyful or painful, are not random. I see how they offer opportunities for growth, for presence, for compassion. But I wonder, how can I carry this understanding into the wider world, into the noise and speed of the village, the demands of daily life? There, it is easy to forget, to fall back into old habits. Ah, such a timeless question. Perhaps, my friend, you too have asked this of yourself: how to hold the wisdom of quiet moments when life grows chaotic again. I smiled gently and motioned for us to sit on a simple bench beside the stream. The water moved slowly that morning, its song soft beneath the hush of mist. Hiroshi, I said, the teachings are not something to hold as a possession. They are a way of being a current you return to again and again. Even when the world pulls you away, do not expect perfection. I continued, there will be days when you forget, when old patterns arise, when your heart closes for a time. This is natural. What matters is not how often you forget, but how gently you remember and return. The Buddha taught, as a lotus rises from the mud unstained, so may we rise again and again from forgetfulness, each time renewed. Hiroshi listened quietly, the weight of expectation beginning to lift from his shoulders. So I need not fear failure, he asked. No, I replied softly, for there is no failure in this path, only the next breath, the next step, the next opportunity to meet life with fresh eyes. And what of the difficult moments? Master, he asked, when I am caught in anger or fear or sorrow, what then? Then, I said, those moments become the very heart of your practice. They are not obstacles, but invitations to pause, to breathe, to bring compassion to what arises within you. Anger, fear, sorrow, these are not enemies to be banished. They are parts of our human experience. Longing to be seen, to be met with kindness. When you can meet your own inner storms with gentle awareness, you will naturally meet others with greater compassion as well. You see, dear one, this is the essence of the path, not to transcend your humanity, but to embrace it fully with wisdom and love, to know that within each moment, even the messy, painful ones, lies the seed of awakening. Hiroshi grew still as we sat by the stream, eyes soft with new understanding. And so, he said slowly, to walk this path is not to escape life, but to meet life more fully, more honestly. Yes, I smiled, to meet life as it is with open eyes, open heart, to let each person you encounter be your teacher, each moment your practice. And remember this too, I added gently, you yourself are also a part of the great web of life. Your presence ripples outward, affecting others in ways you may never fully see. Walk on then with care, speak with kindness, act with integrity, and trust that even the smallest gestures of presence and compassion matter. A smile offered to a stranger, a word of encouragement, a moment of deep listening. These, too, are seeds planted in the hearts of others. Perhaps, my friend, you, too, have underestimated the power of your presence. But know this, even in your quietest moments, your being touches the world. Hiroshi sat in thoughtful silence. The mist had begun to lift, revealing the soft glow of morning light upon the garden. Master, he said softly, I feel both humbled and hopeful. This path is vast, yet I see now that it is walked one breath, one moment, one encounter at a time. Yes, he affirmed, and in this way, life itself becomes the practice. There is no separation between the sacred and the ordinary, for all is sacred when met with awareness. And when the world distracts you as it will, do not despair. Simply return, as many times as needed, to the simplicity of breath, of presence, of compassion. This, I said, is enough. It is more than enough. And so, dear one, may you also carry this knowing within you. As you move through the days to come, through joys and challenges, through ease and difficulty, may you remember, each breath is an invitation to return. Each person is an opportunity to love. Each moment is a gateway to presence. You do not need to get it right. You need only to return. Gently, again and again, with the kindness of a heart learning to trust its wisdom. Rest now. Let these reflections drift softly within you, like petals upon a quiet stream. And when you wake, or even in the dreams that may come, may you feel the quiet truth of this path alive within you. You are enough. This moment is enough, and you are already walking the way. The night lingers now in its most profound quiet. Perhaps the edges of your awareness are softening, your body cradled in stillness, breath moving like a gentle tide. You do not need to follow every word. It is enough to rest here in presence, ease, and the story's soft unfolding. Let us return once more to that mountain monastery, to Hiroshi, and the final morning of his stay. The sun rose slowly that day, casting long golden rays across the mist-veiled trees. Birdsong drifted through the air, simple, clear, unhurried. A morning like any other yet. For Hiroshi, it felt touched with a quiet significance. He had come seeking answers. He would leave with something subtler, not answers, but a way of seeing and being. After morning meditation, we last met beneath the ancient cedar tree. Master, Hiroshi began, before I go, may I ask one more thing? I nodded, inviting him to continue. You have taught me that people enter our lives with purpose, that each encounter is a thread in the great tapestry of existence. But what of those we have not yet met? Those who may one day cross our path? How can we prepare our hearts to meet them well, to receive and offer what is needed? That is such a beautiful question. Perhaps you, too, have wondered this. Hiroshi, I said softly, to prepare is not to plan or to predict, for the dance of life cannot be scripted. Rather, it is to cultivate the qualities within yourself that will naturally shape how you meet whatever comes. When the heart is clear, the mind spacious, the body grounded, you will meet each person from presence, not from past conditioning or fear. And in this way, what needs to unfold will unfold with greater harmony, even if it is not what you expect. So the path is not about controlling outcomes, Hiroshi reflected, but about deepening presence. Yes, I smiled, and about cultivating certain qualities, seeds you can water each day. What qualities? Master? He asked. Begin? I said, with kindness toward yourself and others. Kindness softens the heart, opens the space where true connection can arise. Next, humility, the willingness to learn from each person, each moment, to recognize that no matter how much you understand, life will always offer more to teach you. Then, patience, for not all growth is visible, and not all connections unfold as swiftly or clearly as we might wish. And finally, trust in the unfolding of life itself, a trust that allows you to meet each encounter with curiosity rather than grasping, with openness rather than resistance. You see, dear one, these are not lofty ideals. They are simple qualities already present within you, waiting to be nurtured through gentle attention. Even now, as you rest here, you are cultivating them. These qualities grow stronger with each breath and softening of the heart. Master, Hiroshi asked after a pause, and what if despite my efforts I falter? If fear arises? If old habits return? Then, I said gently. You meet that, too, with kindness. The path is not linear. It is a spiral. We revisit lessons. We circle back to old patterns. This is not failure. It is the deepening of understanding. Each time you return to presence, to compassion, to your own inner truth, the spiral widens. The heart grows more spacious, the spirit more resilient. So be patient with yourself. Walk gently, and know that even in your faltering, wisdom is growing. Perhaps this speaks to you, too. Dear one, perhaps there are places where you feel you should be further along, or where old patterns still arise. Let go of this harshness. You are not a project to be fixed, but a living being, unfolding in your perfect rhythm. Kindness, humility, patience, trust. These are the companions for the journey. As the sun climbed higher, Hiroshi and I strolled toward the outer gate of the monastery. We paused there, beneath the archway of weathered wood and climbing vines. Master, he said softly, I do not wish to leave this place for here. It feels easier to remember these teachings. I smiled, and yet, I said, it is in returning to the world that the real practice begins. Here, the monastery holds you its silence, its rhythm, its presence. Out there, you will learn to hold yourself to become a monastery within, a living sanctuary of presence and compassion wherever you go. This, I told him, is the true fruit of practice, not to remain apart from life, but to meet life from the depths of your own awakened heart. And when you forget, I added, when the noise and rush pull you away, simply pause. One breath is enough to return. One moment of presence rekindles the light within. Hiroshi bowed deeply then, not only to me, but to the teachings, the path, and the mystery of life itself. Thank you, Master, he whispered. I will walk on one breath, one step, one moment at a time. This is all any of us can do, I replied softly, and it is more than enough. And so he stepped through the gate into the bright morning, into the unfolding unknown, not with certainty, but with presence, not with guarantees, but with trust. And you, dear one, are no different. Even as you rest here, between sleep and waking, between old stories and new beginnings, you are already walking this path. Each breath a return, each moment is an opportunity, each encounter is a doorway to presence. You do not need to prepare. You need only to be here as you are. From this, doing will arise naturally. So rest now. Let these reflections settle in the deep quiet of your heart. And when you rise, whether in the morning light or the dreamscape of sleep, may you carry this knowing with you. You are a living sanctuary, a bearer of kindness, humility, patience, and trust, a light upon the path for yourself and others. And this is enough, more than enough. The night holds you now like a gentle hand, cupping a fragile flame. Perhaps your breath moves even slower, the body more deeply surrendered to rest. There is nothing more you need to do. Simply allow yourself to be here, receiving, softening, opening. The story continues as life does, without hurry, without demand. Let us return once more to Hiroshi's path. Though he had left the monastery, the teachings did not leave him. In the weeks and months that followed, as he returned to the rhythms of his village life, Hiroshi saw the world with new eyes. Simple encounters once overlooked now shimmered with quiet significance. The smile of the baker offering morning bread, the weary glance of an old fisherman at the market, the shy wave of a child passing in the street. Each became an invitation to presence. Every person is a thread, Hiroshi often recalled, woven into the fabric of my days. None are random. All offer something to be received with an open heart. Yet, of course, the old world was not entirely transformed. There were moments when the noise of life pulled him back into forgetting, when old habits of reactivity stirred. In one such moment, Hiroshi found himself in a disagreement with a longtime friend, a misunderstanding that quickly escalated into anger. Harsh words were exchanged. Afterward, Hiroshi sat alone beneath a plum tree, heart aching. Have I failed? He wondered. I thought I had learned to meet others with compassion. Why then this anger? This hurt? Perhaps you, too, dear one, to have known such moments when the gap between understanding and embodiment feels discouraging. But remember this, such moments are not failures. They are part of the spiral path of growth. When Hiroshi's heart had settled, he recalled his teacher's words, when you falter, meet yourself with kindness. Each moment is a new beginning. And so, he breathed. He sat in stillness. And when ready, he approached his friend, not with pride, but with humility. I see that I reacted from old patterns, he said softly. I wish to understand more deeply. Can we begin again? This simple act, pausing, acknowledging, and returning, began to mend the rift between them. You see, dear one, the heart's capacity for renewal is boundless. Again and again, we are invited to choose presence over habit, compassion over defense. And each time we do, no matter how small the gesture, we water the seeds of awakening within us. Over time, Hiroshi's presence began to ripple through his community. He did not preach or instruct. He simply lived with greater awareness and greater kindness. When tensions arose in the marketplace, he listened deeply. When a neighbor grieved, he offered quiet companionship. When joy was shared, he celebrated with genuine delight, and those around him noticed, not through grand gestures, but through the subtle steadiness of his being. There is a lightness in you, an elder once remarked, a peace that draws others near. Hiroshi smiled gently. I am simply walking the path, one breath, one step, one moment at a time, he replied. And so are you, dear one. Even now, as you lie here, breath slow, heart soft, you are deepening in this way of being. Perhaps you doubt this. Perhaps the mind whispers, I am not yet wise enough, kind enough, present enough. Let those thoughts drift by like clouds across a vast sky. For the truth is this, the very longing for presence is already the path unfolding within you. You need not be perfect. You need only to return gently, again and again, to the heart of your being. Each breath is a return. Each act of kindness is a step down the path, no matter how small. And remember also, your presence matters. You may never fully know how your words, your gaze, and your quiet compassion touch the lives of others, but they do, more than you can see. Just as Hiroshi's simple way of being began to shift the fabric of his community, so too your presence weaves unseen ripples into the world around you. And this is enough, more than enough. Rest now, dear one. Let these reflections sink deeper into the soil of your heart. You are walking the path in your perfect rhythm, with each breath and moment of gentle awareness. The light within you grows steadier, and when the next dawn comes or the next moment of waking, may you carry this knowing with you. You are part of the great tapestry. Each encounter, each breath, each step is a sacred thread. Walk gently, love freely, return often, and trust that you, just as you are already a light upon the path. The night deepens still. Perhaps your body is now almost weightless, floating upon the currents of breath and stillness. There is no effort required, no striving. Simply being here is enough. And the story, like life, continues to unfold in its quiet rhythm. Some months after Hiroshi's return to his village, the season began to turn. The crispness of early autumn settled over the land. Leaves blushed gold and crimson. The river ran clearer and colder. It was during this time that Hiroshi received news. An elder from the monastery, one of the kind teachers he had sat beside, had entered his final days. Without hesitation, Hiroshi prepared to return, not from obligation, but from the heart's call to honor a connection that had profoundly shaped his path. The journey up the mountain was familiar now. Each bend in the trail stirring memories of still mornings and twilight reflections. When he arrived, the monastery felt both unchanged and yet subtly transformed, as though the passage of time had deepened its stillness. Hiroshi sat quietly at the elder's bedside, no need for words. He simply offered presence, breath to breath, heart to heart. Afterward, as the monks gathered beneath the stars, Hiroshi found himself once more in conversation with his first teacher, the elder monk with eyes like clear mountain water. "Master," he said softly, "being here again, I feel how precious these connections are, how fleeting, how sacred, and I wonder, how can we live each day more awake to this truth? How can we keep our hearts open, even as life brings loss and change?" A question that touches us all. Does it not? Even as we cherish life's beauty, we know it is impermanent. Those we love will one day leave. Seasons will change. The tapestry will be rewoven again and again. The master smiled gently. "Hiroshi," he said, "the key is not to grasp at what is passing, but to meet each moment fully, so that when the time comes to release, we do so with a heart at peace. To love," he continued, "is to be willing to let go again and again with grace. This does not mean we love less. In truth, it allows us to love more fully, because we are not clinging, not trying to possess. We are simply present, honoring the gift of each connection, while it is here and when it is time to release." He added softly, "We do so with gratitude, trusting that nothing truly loved is ever lost. It lives within us, woven into who we are becoming. You see, dear one, this is one of life's most profound teachings: to love without grasping, to open fully, knowing that change will come, to meet impermanence not with fear, but with reverence." As Hiroshi listened, tears shimmered in his eyes, not of sorrow alone, but of deep recognition. "So in this way," he whispered, "even loss becomes part of the path, another thread in the great weaving." "Yes," the master nodded, "and in embracing this, we free ourselves to live with greater joy, greater tenderness, greater presence. For when we no longer fear loss, we can meet life more intimately, knowing that each moment, each encounter, is precious beyond measure." Perhaps you feel this too, dear one. Perhaps there are people, moments, and seasons in your life that you have loved and also had to release. It is natural for the heart to grieve what passes. Grief is a form of love. Love seeking new pathways when the old forms dissolve. And in allowing this grief, meeting it with compassion, we make space for new life to arise. New connections, new joys, new ways of being. As the conversation beneath the stars unfolded, Hiroshi felt a deep quiet. "Master," he said softly, "I used to think that wisdom was about knowing more, understanding all the teachings, mastering the practices, but now I see it is about becoming more open, more present, more compassionate, about walking with humility through the mystery of life." The master smiled. "This is true wisdom. Hiroshi, not a mind filled with answers, but a heart attuned to life as it is, a heart willing to meet each moment, joy or sorrow, gain or loss, with presence and love. And so it is for you. Dear one, you do not need to know more to walk this path. You need only to open to this breath, this moment, this life, to meet what arises within and without, with compassion and curiosity. Trust that you are already enough, that your presence is a gift, and that even in the face of change, perhaps especially then, your capacity to love, grow, and offer light remains boundless. Rest now. Dear one, let these truths settle softly within you. The heart knows how to carry them. There is no need to strive. Simply be, breathe, trust in your unfolding path. You are walking it already, with every breath, every moment of awareness, every act of kindness. And this is enough, more than enough. The night now holds its most profound stillness. Perhaps you find yourself drifting, the edges of thought soft and blurred, the body resting in quiet surrender. There is nothing more to seek, only to receive, like the earth receiving rain, without effort, without resistance. And so we return once more to Hiroshi's path. It had been many seasons since his first visit to the monastery. The rhythms of life had carried him through changing days, moments of joy, challenge, and simple presence. A letter arrived one crisp autumn morning as the leaves turned amber and gold. An invitation from the monastery to a gathering, a time of reflection and shared practice among those who had walked the path in their ways. Hiroshi felt a deep stirring within. It was time to return, not as the questioning seeker he had been, but as one who had walked the teachings through the weaving of daily life. The journey up the mountain felt familiar now, each step a return, each breath a remembering. When he arrived, the monastery was alive with quiet joy. Old friends greeted one another with warmth. New faces shone with the freshness of discovery. The gathering began beneath the great cedar tree. Monks, lay practitioners, villagers all sat together in a circle, sharing reflections from their lives. When it came time for Hiroshi to speak, he rose slowly, eyes soft with gratitude. "When I first came here," he began, "I believed I was seeking answers, clarity about why people enter our lives, why some connections bring joy, while others bring pain. But now I see it is not about answers, but about presence. Every encounter is a teacher, every person, a mirror, every moment, a thread in the tapestry of awakening. And the greatest gift," he continued, "has been learning to meet life as it is, to love without clinging, to grieve without despair, to trust the unfolding mystery with an open heart." There was a hush in the circle, not of silence, but shared understanding. The master smiled softly. "Hiroshi," he said, "you have come to the heart of the path, not through study alone, but through living, through walking with humility and love amid the impermanence of the world. And now, the Master added, you are ready for the next teaching, one that is not given in words, but in how you live each day, for the path does not end here. It continues through each breath, each step, each act of kindness and presence you offer in the world. And remember, he said gently, you, too, are now a lantern on the path for others, not by striving to teach, but simply by embodying the wisdom of presence in your own imperfect, beautiful way. Perhaps you feel this truth as well. Dear one, you may not see yourself as a teacher, and yet, in the way you listen, in the way you offer kindness, in the way you choose presence, amid life's unfolding, you are already a light for others. No grand gesture is required. Often, the smallest acts, unseen, unheralded, that ripple most deeply through the fabric of the world. A moment of authentic listening to one in pain, a gentle word when another falters, a gaze that sees the humanity in a stranger. These, too, are teachings lived through the heart. As the gathering continued, others shared their reflections, stories of joy and struggle, forgetting and remembering, opening and release. And through it all, a quiet knowing wove the circle together that the path is not linear. We all falter, all forget, and all begin again. And that this, too, is the path. When the day drew to a close and the stars began to shimmer in the mountain sky, Hiroshi sat beneath the plum tree, the same tree beneath which his first questions had been voiced years ago. So much has changed, he thought, and yet nothing essential has changed. The breath is still the breath, the heart, still the heart, the path, still this moment. Perhaps you too, dear one, can feel this. There is a deeper constancy beneath all the changing forms of life, a quiet presence always here, always now, and it is from this presence that wisdom flows, not from knowing everything, but from meeting whatever arises with softness, curiosity, and love. Rest now, dear one. Let this knowing settle within you, not as something to grasp, but as something to trust. You are already walking the path. Each breath a return. Each moment is an invitation. And you, just as you are enough. More than enough. The night flows onward, gentle as a stream in the quiet forest. Perhaps your breath moves of its own accord, effortless, smooth, a soft rhythm beneath the stillness. There is no need to follow each word. It is enough to rest in this unfolding space, allowing the story to settle where it will, like autumn leaves, drifting upon a calm pond. And so we return to the path of Hiroshi. In the weeks following the gathering at the monastery, Hiroshi returned once more to his village, carrying memories of the teachings and a deeper way of being, one not tied to any place or teacher, but alive within his own heart. The rhythms of daily life resumed, tending his home, sharing tea with neighbors, walking the familiar paths by the river. Yet beneath the surface, something subtle had shifted. There was a new spaciousness in his presence, a gentleness in how he met others and himself. He no longer rushed to resolve every difficulty, nor did he cling to fleeting joys. He allowed life to unfold, breath by breath, moment by moment, and in this, the village around him also felt subtly transformed. One day, as he sat beneath an old willow tree by the river's edge, A young man from the village approached. He had heard whispers of Hiroshi's time at the monastery, of the quiet peace that seemed to surround him now. Hiroshi, the young man began, a hint of hesitation in his voice. May I ask you something? Of course, Hiroshi replied, offering a warm, steady gaze. I struggle, the young man confessed. With the people in my life, I feel caught between wanting to help them and feeling drained by their pain. Sometimes I wonder if it is selfish to step back. A familiar question, one that lives in many hearts. Perhaps you, too, have known this tension, the longing to be of service, yet the need to care for your spirit. Hiroshi smiled gently. You are not alone in this, he said, and it is not selfish to honor your own well-being. In truth, it is an act of wisdom. When we give from an empty well, we offer little, but when we tend our inner life with care, resting when needed, nourishing what is life-giving, we can meet others with genuine presence, not from depletion. This, he continued softly, is the balance we learn between offering love and honoring boundaries. There will be times to step forward and times to step back. Neither is wrong. What matters is the clarity of your intention to act from compassion, not compulsion, from love, not guilt. The young man listened with wide, honest eyes. And how do I know when to step back? He asked. Listen to your body, Hiroshi replied. Notice your breath, your energy, your inner tone. If being with someone leaves you feeling diminished, heavy, or resentful, this is a signal to pause, to return to your own center. Remember, he added gently, to care for others does not mean to abandon yourself. The Buddha taught, you yourself, as much as anyone in the universe, deserve your love and affection. Perhaps you, too, dear one, can feel this truth. There is great wisdom in honoring the rhythm of giving and receiving, engagement and rest. In doing so, your presence becomes clearer and more sustainable, a light that does not burn itself out. The young man sat quietly, absorbing these words. Thank you, he said. At last, a soft light in his eyes. I see now it is not about doing more, but about being more present, more attuned, more whole. Yes, Hiroshi smiled. And know that this is a lifelong practice, not something to master, but something to live, day by day, breath by breath. There will be times you forget, times you give too much or withdraw too far. That is natural. What matters is the willingness to notice, to learn, and to begin again. You, too, dear one, can walk this way. There is no need to be perfect, no need to measure your worth by how much you do for others. It is enough to walk with awareness, to listen to your heart and body, and offer what is true in each moment, to trust that by honoring your well-being, you serve not only yourself, but the greater whole. As the sun dipped lower over the river, the young man rose, gratitude shining in his gaze. I will remember this, he said. To care for myself is not selfish. It is what allows me to offer real care to others. Exactly, Hiroshi replied. And in this way, you will walk the path of presence not in isolation, but in harmony with the dance of life. The young man bowed and departed. Footsteps light upon the path, and Hiroshi, watching the river flow, felt a quiet joy within, for he saw now that the monastery's teachings were not confined to its stone walls. They lived here in the simple exchanges of daily life, in each encounter, in each breath, and so it is for you. Dear one, the wisdom you seek is not distant. It lives within you, already waiting to be met in the flow of your own life. In the pauses between tasks, in the moments of stillness, in the way you meet yourself and others with presence and care. Trust this. Rest now, allowing these truths to settle deep within. You are enough. You are walking the path breath by breath, moment by moment, and this is more than enough. The night holds you now, as the ocean holds a drifting boat gently, without demand, without direction. Perhaps your breath is so soft now that you scarcely notice it. The body weightless in rest. There is nothing to do, nothing to accomplish. It is enough simply to be here, receiving the story, like waves lapping the shore of your being. And so we continue, following the quiet path of Hiroshi's unfolding life. Season passed. The wheel of time turned gently, as it always does. Hiroshi's days were simple, grounded in the rhythms of village life, tending the garden, preparing meals, sitting by the river, meeting each person, old friends and strangers alike, with presence. Yet beneath this simplicity, a profound transformation was taking place. Hiroshi had come to live the teachings, not as ideas or practices apart from life, but as the very fabric of his being. He no longer sought special moments or profound encounters. He had come to see that every moment, sweeping the floor, sharing tea, gazing at the sky was sacred when met with full awareness. One cool spring morning, as blossoms began to bud upon the trees, a traveling merchant stopped in the village. Hearing of Hiroshi's presence and curious about the peace others spoke of, the merchant sought him out. "I hear," the merchant said, after exchanging greetings, "that you have studied with wise monks, that you know much of the teachings. I am a simple man," the merchant continued, "but life troubles me. There is too much to do, too many worries. I feel always restless, never at peace. Please tell me, what must I do to find the peace you seem to have?" A familiar longing. Perhaps you, too, to have known this, the wish for a clear answer, a simple path to peace amid life's complexities. Hiroshi smiled gently. "Friend," he said, "peace is not found in adding more, not in learning more, not in perfecting oneself. It is found in letting go, in meeting life as it is. In this moment, when you walk, walk. When you eat, eat. When you speak, speak with presence. When you listen, listen with your whole being. It is not about escaping life's duties," Hiroshi continued. "It is about bringing awareness into them, so that even the smallest task becomes an expression of presence." The merchant frowned. "But this seems too simple," he said. "Surely there must be more." Hiroshi's smile deepened. "It is simple," he said, "but not easy, because the mind seeks to complicate, to chase, to grasp. The true practice is this: to return again and again to the simplicity of this breath, this step, this act. And when you forget, as we all do, simply begin again, without judgment, with kindness. Perhaps this speaks to you as well. Dear one, the mind may whisper, "I must understand more, accomplish more, become more." But beneath all this seeking lies a quieter truth. You are already enough. Peace is not somewhere else. It is here in this breath, in this moment. To return to this is the heart of the path. The merchant sat quietly, absorbing Hiroshi's words. "And what of the suffering I see in the world?" he asked. "How do I hold that without becoming overwhelmed?" Another question of great depth, one we all meet in some form. Hiroshi's gaze softened. "Compassion," he said gently, "not as sentiment, but as presence, to witness suffering without turning away, to offer what you can, a kind word, a listening ear, a simple act of care, and to know that you cannot fix everything, nor are you meant to." The Buddha taught, "Tend to the area of the field you can reach. In this way," Hiroshi continued, "you act from love, not from burden. You meet the world's pain with a steady heart giving where you can, releasing where you must. And remember," he added softly, "to include yourself in this compassion, for you, too, are worthy of kindness. Perhaps this is a reminder you, too, may need. It is easy to extend care outward, to forget oneself, but genuine compassion begins within and radiates outward from there." As the conversation ended, the merchant bowed deeply. "Thank you," he said. "I see now it is not about finding peace elsewhere, but about bringing presence to this life, here and now." "Exactly," Hiroshi replied. "And in this way, even the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Even the mundane becomes sacred." And so the merchant departed, not with all his questions answered, but with a new way of seeing, a seed planted in the soil of his heart. And Hiroshi sat quietly by the river, gazing at the rippling water. Life is always teaching, he reflected. Each moment, each encounter, a new invitation to presence, to compassion, to freedom. And you, dear one, are already walking this path. No need to seek elsewhere. The doorway is here in this breath, in this moment. Trust this. Rest now, letting these truths settle softly within you like petals drifting upon a still pond. You are enough. You are already whole. And the path unfolds with each gentle breath. The night has grown long now, and you are perhaps floating softly between the world of waking and the gentle pull of dreams. There is nothing you need to hold on to, no meaning to grasp, no understanding to force. Let each word drift through you, like wind through an open field, touching lightly, then passing on. And so the story continues, not because it must, but because life itself continues, breath by breath, step by step. In the years that followed, Hiroshi's way of being deepened, not through striving, but through the natural unfolding of practice lived daily. His life remained simple. He did not seek titles, students, or recognition. Yet slowly, word spread not of a wise man to be sought, but of a person who lived with uncommon presence. With a heart at ease amid the tides of life, people came, not in crowds, but quietly drawn less by the thought of learning and more by the feeling of being met, seen, accepted. One day, a young woman from a distant village arrived. She had heard of Hiroshi through a traveling elder. Her heart was heavy with grief, the recent loss of a beloved friend. Her voice trembled when she sat with Hiroshi beneath the flowering plum tree. "I do not understand," she said. "How can the world go on, unchanged, when someone I loved so deeply is gone? How can I meet life when my heart feels so empty?" A question that arises in many hearts in many seasons of life. Perhaps you, too, have known this ache. The world continues. The sun rises. The river flows even as we carry loss. Hiroshi listened without interruption. Without rushing to soothe or explain, he allowed her words, her sorrow, to be fully present. Then, softly, he spoke. "Grief is not a mistake," he said gently. "It is a natural response to love. When we love deeply, we will grieve deeply. And this grief is not an enemy, it is a teacher, a tender companion on the path. But it hurts so much." The young woman whispered. "Yes," Hiroshi replied, "because love touches the deepest part of us. And when the form changes, when someone we love leaves this life, the heart must learn to hold love in a new way. You will not stop loving," he continued, "nor should you. But over time, the sharpness of grief will soften. Love will remain not bound to form, but flowing freely within you. And in this way, those we lose are never truly gone. They live in how we speak, how we act, how we love others, their presence woven into the fabric of who we are becoming. Perhaps this speaks to you, dear one. Perhaps there are those you have loved, whose absence still echoes in your heart. Know this, you need not let go of love. You need not move on in the way the world sometimes urges. Instead, allow love to transform, deepen, and flow through your life in new ways. In this way, love becomes not a wound, but a wellspring, not a loss, but a living presence." The young woman listened, tears flowing freely now, not as resistance, but as release. "But how do I live with this grief?" "Day by day," she asked softly. "One breath at a time," Hiroshi answered. "One act of kindness at a time. One moment of presence at a time. There is no great leap, no sudden healing. There is only the gentle practice of meeting each day as it is with compassion for your own heart. And over time, without forcing it, life will open again. Joy will return. Quietly, like the first blossom of spring, the young woman sat quietly, her breath growing slower, her shoulders easing. "You have given me hope," she whispered. "Not hope that the pain will vanish, but hope that I can live with it, that I can carry love forward." "Yes," Hiroshi smiled gently, "and in doing so, you honor both your grief and your love. You walk the path of the heart tender, open, wise. Perhaps you, too, carry grief. If so, know that it is not a weakness. It is a testament to love, and as you meet it with presence, patience, and compassion, it will become part of the richness of your being." The young woman remained for a time, resting beneath the plum tree. No words were needed now, only breath, only presence. And when she rose to leave, her step was lighter not because her grief had vanished, but because it had been seen, honored, embraced. And so, too, may you embrace whatever arises within you. Grief, joy, longing, peace, all are visitors on the path. All can be met with the gentle heart of presence. You are not alone, and you are enough exactly as you are at this moment. Rest now, dear one. Let these words settle softly. Like petals drifting upon the quiet lake of your being, you are walking the path breath by breath, moment by moment. And this is more than enough. The night now holds its softest silence. Perhaps your breath moves in a gentle rhythm that barely seems there a tide beneath the stillness. Steady, unseen, you are exactly where you need to be. No need to listen closely. No need to follow, simply rest and let the story flow around you like a quiet stream. The path of life continued for Hiroshi, as it does for us all. No great turning point, no dramatic awakening, just the deepening of presence, the soft unfolding of understanding through the fabric of everyday life. In time, Hiroshi became known not as a teacher in the formal sense, but as one whose presence offered refuge, a living reminder that wisdom need not be grand, that peace can be found in the simplicity of being. People continued to seek him not for answers, but for the space to listen more deeply to their hearts. One misty autumn morning, a mother from a nearby village arrived. Her son had grown distant and troubled. She carried a heaviness in her heart, not knowing how to reach him or ease the growing gulf between them. "I feel helpless," she said softly, sitting with Hiroshi beneath the fading leaves. "I love him so much, yet the more I try to help, the more he pulls away. I fear I am losing him. Perhaps you, too. We have known this ache, the longing to reach someone you love, and the helplessness when they cannot or will not meet you." Hiroshi listened with great care, not rushing to speak. When the time felt right, he said gently, "Love sometimes takes the form of letting go, of releasing the grip of control, the urge to fix, the need to make things different than they are. This does not mean you stop caring," he continued. "It means you offer your love as open space, a place where your son can return when he is ready, without the pressure of your fear or your sorrow weighing upon him." "But it hurts so much," the mother whispered. "How do I bear this? By allowing the hurt to be here?" Hiroshi said softly, "By meeting it with compassion, breath by breath, and by remembering," he added, "that each being walks their path in their way, in their own time. We can offer love and presence, but we cannot walk another's path for them. In trusting this," he said, "you free both yourself and your son. You create space for connection to arise naturally, when and if it is ready." The mother's shoulders trembled. Tears welled in her eyes, not just of grief, but of release. "You mean I can love him without trying to change him?" she asked. "Yes," Hiroshi replied, "and in doing so, your love becomes lighter, freer, no longer tangled with fear, but rooted in trust." "This is not easy," he acknowledged. "It is a practice, a return, again and again, to the open heart. You, too, may have known this edge of love, where care and control become entangled, where fear tightens the heart. But hear this: love that frees is love that trusts. Love that releases the need to change. Another creates the space where genuine connection can grow. It is not indifference. It is the most profound respect for the mystery of each being's path." A quiet peace settled within her as the mother sat in the morning hush. The situation had not changed, but her way of meeting it had softened. "I will try," she said softly, "to love him without clinging, without trying to force what is not yet ready. This is more than enough." Hiroshi smiled. "And in this, you embody the heart of the teachings, meeting life as it is, with presence, with compassion, with trust. Perhaps this speaks to you as well. There may be those you long to reach, help, and heal in your life. Know this: your love is not measured by your ability to fix. It is measured by your willingness to be present, to trust, to hold space, even amid uncertainty and pain. And this is enough, more than enough." As the sun rose higher, the mother prepared to leave. Though still touched with sorrow, her face now carried a new softness, the lightness of having laid down a burden too heavy to bear. "Thank you," she said quietly. "You have given me a new way to love. Or perhaps," Hiroshi smiled, "you have remembered what was always within you." And so she departed, carrying not answers, but the seed of a new way of being. And you, dear one, may carry this too. You need not have it all figured out. You need only to return again and again to the heart of presence, to love without clinging, to care without control, to trust the unfolding of each life, your own included. Rest now. Let these truths settle softly, like leaves upon a quiet stream. You are walking the path breath by breath, moment by moment. And this, dear one, is more than enough. The night has gathered you now, as a mother gathers her child close, warm, safe. Perhaps the body is so deeply at rest that breath remains soft and steady, like ripples on a still pond. You do not need to attend to the words now. Let them drift like distant bells heard through the mist of a dream. The path of Hiroshi's life continued this way, not with grand events, but with a quiet presence woven through simple days. One spring evening, as lanterns flickered in the village square, an old friend came to visit. They had not seen one another in many years. The friend's face bore the traces of timelines, carved by sorrow, but also by wisdom, hard-earned. Over tea, beneath a sky woven with stars, the friend spoke of life's twists and turns, of love lost, of paths abandoned, of new beginnings found in unexpected places. Sometimes, the friend said softly, "I wonder, have I wasted too much time? Have I wandered too far from the person I once hoped to become?" Ah, such a question. Perhaps you, too, have known this ache, the quiet regret, the longing to return to some imagined path of purpose, of clarity. Hiroshi listened, his gaze kind, unwavering. Then he spoke, voice as steady as the river's flow nearby. "No time is wasted," he said. "No path is without purpose. Even the moments of loss, of confusion, of a parent wandering, these, too, are part of your becoming. The bamboo bends with the wind, yet it does not forget how to stand tall. The river meanders, yet it always moves toward the sea. You are not apart from life's flow." Hiroshi continued, "You are life itself, unfolding perfectly, even when you cannot yet see the pattern. But I have made so many mistakes." The friend whispered, "Mistakes are not failures." Hiroshi said gently, "They are teachers. Each moment of falling holds the seed of more profound understanding within it. The heart that has known sorrow can hold greater compassion. The one who has wandered far can guide others with wisdom, born of experience. Perhaps this speaks to you, dear one. Perhaps there are moments in your life that feel wasted, paths that feel lost. But hear this, nothing is wasted. All that you have lived, the joys, the wounds, the detours, has shaped the depth of who you are now. And from this depth, new life can emerge. The lotus," Hiroshi said softly, "blooms from the mud. The richest soil is made from what has been broken down, transformed. So too, your life, every step, even those that seem to lead away, has brought you to this moment. And this moment holds infinite possibility." The friend's gaze softened, shoulders easing. "Then, it is not too late?" they asked. "It is never too late," Hiroshi replied. "The path begins here, in this breath, in this choice to meet yourself with kindness, to walk forward with openness, You do not need to become someone else. You need only to return to the truth of who you already are beneath the stories, the regrets, and the striving. And in this return, he said, you will find that the path was never lost, only waiting for you to walk it anew. Perhaps you, too, have needed to hear this. It is never too late. Not for healing, not for presence, not for love, not for peace. Each moment offers the doorway. Each breath is an invitation to begin again. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are exactly where life has brought you from here. All things are possible. As the stars wheeled overhead, Hiroshi and his friends sat in shared silence. No need for further words. Sometimes, the most profound knowing arises not from speech, but from presence. A gaze that says, I see you. I honor your path. I trust your unfolding. And so, too, dear one, may you honor your path. No need to rush, no need to perfect, only to return, gently, again and again to the breath, to the heart, to the truth of this moment. Rest now. Let these reflections settle deep within you, not as ideas, but as a felt, knowing, a quiet trust. You are walking the path. You are enough. And this, dear one, is more than enough. Now, the night has become vast and timeless. Perhaps by now, your breath is so light, your body so still, that the edges of waking and sleep have blurred completely. There is no need to grasp these words. Let them move through you like wind through an open field, like the gentle current of a river beneath the stars. And so, the story nears its quiet, unfolding. In the fullness of time, Hiroshi grew older, as all things do. His hair silvered, and his steps slowed, but his presence deepened, steady as a mountain, gentle as a breeze. He remained in the village, tending to the small garden behind his home, walking the river path each morning, greeting all he met with an open heart. There was no grand role, no title to claim. He was simply Hiroshi, one who lived the teachings not through display, but through the quiet way. Over the years, many came to sit with him, young and old, villagers and travelers alike. They are not seeking answers, but seeking the space to remember their inner wisdom. One crisp autumn afternoon, a young monk from a distant monastery arrived, eager-eyed, earnest, carrying many questions. Master Hiroshi, he said respectfully, I have heard of your way, how you live the teachings in daily life. At my monastery, we study diligently sutras, chants, meditation practices, but sometimes I feel distant from life itself, as though caught in trying to attain something beyond me. How do you walk the path without striving? A question from a sincere heart. Perhaps you, too, have felt this, the subtle burden of striving to be better, to achieve awakening, to reach some imagined place of perfection. Hiroshi smiled, his gaze soft and understanding. The river flows because it flows. He said simply, it does not strive to reach the sea, and yet it arrives. The flower blooms because it is its nature to do so, not through effort, but through allowing. So too with us. He continued, the more we chase awakening, the more it recedes. The more we return to presence, the more we discover it was never apart from us. But is it not important to practice diligently? The young monk asked. Yes, Hiroshi nodded. Practice is the soil, it prepares the ground, but it is the letting go, the trust in life's unfolding, that allows the flower to bloom. To practice without striving is to return, again and again, to this moment with openness, with curiosity, with love, not seeking to become something else, but to be fully here, breath by breath, step by step. You, too, dear one, may carry the subtle weight of striving to heal faster, grow wiser, and get it right. But hear this, you are already enough. The heart of the path is not becoming more, but being more present to what already is. Each breath is sacred. Each step is the path. The young monk sat quietly, the tension in his posture easing. So it is enough, he said softly, to be here, now, and to return when I forget. Exactly. Hiroshi smiled. This is the heart of practice, not perfection, but presence. Not attaining, but allowing. And when you forget, as we all do, simply begin again. One breath, one step, one moment of gentle awareness. Perhaps you needed to hear this. 2, it is enough to be here. It is enough to return. Again and again. With kindness. No need to rush. No need to achieve some distant state. The path is here, beneath your feet, within your breath. As the afternoon sun slanted across the garden, Hiroshi and the young monk sat in companionable silence. The leaves whispered in the breeze. The river sang its timeless song. Thank you, the young monk said at last. I feel I can breathe more freely now, not because I know more, but because I feel more at ease with not knowing. This, Hiroshi replied softly, is true wisdom, to walk in the mystery with an open heart. And so, dear one, may you walk, not with the burden of striving, but with the freedom of presence, not with the need to perfect, but with the grace of returning. You are already enough. This breath, this moment, this being is part of the sacred unfolding. Rest now. Let these words drift softly into the depth of your being. You are walking the path breath by breath, moment by moment. And this, dear one, is more than enough. Now, the night is as deep as the ocean's heart. Perhaps you are floating entirely now, breath so slow, so soft, you may not even feel it. The body weightless, the mind resting beyond words. There is no more to do, no need to follow. Let the words flow past like clouds across an endless sky. You are safe here, held in your presence. And so, we return one final time to Hiroshi's path. Years had passed. The cycles of seasons turned leaves falling, rivers swelling, blossoms returning repeatedly. Hiroshi had grown older, his hair now entirely silver, his steps deliberate and unhurried. He spent his days, much as before, tending his garden, walking the river path, sitting beneath the old plum tree that had witnessed so many of his conversations and quiet moments of insight. There was no sense of waiting, no longing for something more. Each breath was enough. Each sunrise, each falling leaf, each shared smile, all were embraced with the fullness of presence. As the first light touched the mountaintops one clear morning, a small group of villagers gathered beneath the plum tree. They had come not for teachings, but simply to be in Hiroshi's presence, to sit in the quiet that seemed to emanate from him, like warmth from the sun. A child, perhaps 6 or 7, sat at Hiroshi's feet, gazing up with innocent curiosity, Grandfather Hiroshi, the child asked. What is the most important thing to remember? A simple question, and perhaps the deepest. In the end, all teachings return to the heart of simplicity. Hiroshi smiled softly, his gaze tender. To remember, he said, that each moment is precious because it will never come again. To remember that each person you meet is a teacher, even if they do not know it. To remember that you are already enough, exactly as you are, in this breath. And most of all, he added, voice, gentle as the breeze, to meet life with an open heart, one breath, one step, one moment at a time. The child's eyes widened, a smile blooming across the young face, and the villagers, too, sat in deep stillness, not because they had heard something new, but because they had remembered something ancient within themselves. You, too, dear one, know this truth. It lives beneath the layers of thought, beneath striving, beneath all stories. The simple, spacious awareness is always here. The heart that knows how to meet life, breath by breath. As the day unfolded, the villagers slowly dispersed, each carrying a quiet light, and Hiroshi remained beneath the plum tree, gaze lifted to the vast sky above the same sky that had witnessed all his days and seasons of change. So it is, he thought. The path continues not as a road to be traveled, but as life itself, unfolding in each breath. And so it is for you, dear one. There is no path to chase, no goal to reach. There is only this breath, this moment, this being. You are enough. You have always been enough. And whatever tomorrow may bring joy or sorrow, ease or challenge, you can meet it with the steady heart of presence. The river flows, the leaves fall and return, the stars wheel silently through the heavens, and you are part of this great dance, just as you are. Rest now, dear one. Let go. There is nothing to hold, nothing to grasp. You are held by the breath, the earth, and the vast, unseen web of life. And as you drift deeper into rest, into dream, into the spacious heart of night, may these words remain as a gentle blessing. You are walking the path. You are enough, and all is well. And now, my dear friend, we have walked together through many breaths, moments, and quiet reflections. You have listened not only with your ears, but with the soft openness of your heart. You have let the story unfold, not as something to analyze, but as a gentle current to carry you deeper into stillness. And now, there is nothing more to follow, nothing more to understand. Only this, the hush of the night surrounding you, the soft rhythm of your breath in and out. Perhaps your body is hefty now, sinking deeper into rest. Perhaps your mind drifts like a leaf on the surface of a still pond, thoughts coming and going, none needing to be held. It is all welcome. There is nothing wrong. You do not need to try. Let the story fade now into the background, like a lantern flickering at the edge of sleep. Let the breath carry you. Let the heart soften. Let the body rest. You are exactly where you need to be. And as you drift into sleep, into dream, or the deep quiet of presence, know this: the path of presence is always here. In this breath, in this heart, in this life, there is no rush, no race, only the gentle unfolding moment by moment of your becoming. And you are enough. You have always been enough. So rest now, dear one. Let go. Trust the night to hold you. And when morning comes, whenever it comes, may you rise with a heart just a little softer, a spirit just a little freer, and a deeper knowing that the wisdom you seek has always been within you. Good night, my friend. Sleep well. You are safe. You are loved. And all is well.